And so How Europe Underdeveloped Africa, a book that Rodney wrote more than 50 years ago. And it's a book about development and underdevelopment, because what Rodney argued in that book is that if you trace history, you would see that up until the Europeans got to Africa, Africa was the most developed continent in the world. You had to be the most developed continent in the world if you were producing the first university in Timbuktu. Trade, they were using the camels. They discovered that camels could go long distances without stopping for water and so on. They could store water, and they used the camel, and they were doing tremendous trade, tremendous technology, agriculture technology, metal technology, and so forth. And so when the Europeans got to Africa, Rodney's arguing that Africa was the most developed, and Europe at that time was very underdeveloped. And Rodney was able to trace from the time the European entry how, because of the exploitation and extraction of the wealth from Africa to Europe, that Africa began to underdevelop and Europe became developed. And so using the theory, the model of development and underdeveloped, and making the argument that Europe is developed because Africa is underdeveloped. And that book, as many people know, changed the way people look at development, changed the way people looked at African history,